del Rosario will get you up to speed with today's top stories.
Hello there, I am Anne Asis-Carilo. Stay informed and inspired as we start yet another day.
And good morning, I'm Monique Tuzon. Join us in the next hour for stories and conversations that matter.
Speaking for stuff that matter, I'm actually excited for our guests today because, we're going to talk about toys. Thank goodness.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
Same.
But also a few medical conditions that I'm actually kind of surprised that not a lot of people know quite about, to be quite honest.
I actually didn't know about them until today when we were reading the scripts. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, I love it when we have doctors on the show. It's like free consultation for
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Consultation.
It's also a reminder that we have to go to the doctor more often.
Actually, yeah, we
true.
learn a lot.
Yeah, we do. But of course, we have a lot to talk about, a lot to get through. But for the meantime, let's first shift to some serious business. The Land Transportation Office says a luxury sports utility vehicle caught using the exclusive bus lane along EDSA had a fake number 7 license plate. Number 7 license plates are assigned to senators. The Cadillac Escalade allegedly attempted to run over a female traffic officer after being stopped for passing through the busway on Sunday evening. Senator Rafi Tulfo said that he was told by the LTO that the protocol plate was found to be fake due to its lack of security features. Despite the LTO's statement, Senate President Chis Escudero said the agency should continue its investigation.
In another traffic incident, the Korean national who ran amok inside the Clark Freeport zone in Pampanga now faces multiple charges. That's after the 41-year-old allegedly ran over a security guard's motorcycle and crashed into a gasoline pump, which led to a fire on October 31st. The owner of the gas station has already filed charges, including grave scandal, malicious mischief, and reckless imprudence resulting in damage to property. Speaking on BNC's agenda, the director of Clark Development Corporation, Nicolette Henson, reveals that the incident resulted in 50 million pesos in damage. Meanwhile, the Commission on Elections affirms that elections in the Bangsamoro region will proceed. The filing of Certificate of Candidacy, or COC, has begun in the region on November 4 and will run until November 9, despite calls for the polls' postponement. Among those who are against holding the elections is the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, or BTA, Parliament. The group says a lot more time is needed to implement changes in parliament representation following the recent decision of the Supreme Court to remove Sulu from the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM. However, COMELEC says they are ready and have prepared a Plan B in case changes in schedule occur. The Commission also says as long as there is no law about it, they will continue preparing for the 2025 elections.
Heads up to motorists, a mixed movement in fuel prices is in effect today. Prices of diesel will increase by 75 centavos per liter, while gasoline prices will be slashed by 10 centavos a liter. Kerosene will also go up by 50 centavos per liter. The Energy Department cites the fuel demand in the United States and the worsening conflict in the Middle East as the reason behind the mixed movement.
Now let's take a look at the weather. Several provinces in Luzon are under signal number 1 because of severe tropical storm Marce. These include Batanes, Cagayan, including the Babuyan Islands, the northern and eastern portions of Isabela, the northern portion of Apayao, and the northern portion of Ilocos Norte. Pag-asa warns of possible landslides due to scattered rain showers and thunderstorms for today. In its 5 a.m. advisory, Pag-asa says severe tropical storm Marce was last spotted east of Baler in Aurora. Forecasters warn of strong winds caused by Marce, especially in upland or mountainous areas. The Weather Bureau expects severe tropical storm Marce to exit the country's monitoring area by Saturday, November 9. I'll tune into Weather HQ later on. Turn over to me, yeah? At 9 a.m., where we'll be together whatever the weather. Only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. In world headlines, public outrage in Valencia, Spain as residents expressed their fury amid the widespread flooding in the country. The King and Queen of Spain were slung with mud during a town visit to check on the displaced families and individuals. Demonstrators cried foul over the apparent slow government response. Over 200 people and 200 fatalities were recorded, with dozens missing due to the flood.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump is determined to return to the White House despite legal woes. From billionaire to political powerhouse, Foreign Affairs editor Jamela Alindogan gives us a closer look on the Republican presidential candidate on Inside Weekly.
Former President Donald Trump, one of the most controversial and consequential figures in U.S. history, is on the cusp of a potential second term. In Asia, his policies are seen as inconsistent and erratic, leaving many here uncertain about the region's future under his second term. I'm Jamela Alindogan, and this is Inside Weekly.
We will make America great again.
Donald Trump's life has been defined by ambition, controversy, and spectacle. To some, he embodies the American dream. To others, he represents unchecked privilege and abuse of power. The fourth child of New York real estate mogul Fred Trump, Donald was born into wealth. His personal life has been a public spectacle. 3 marriages, tabloid scandals, and a string of sexual misconduct allegations. Court rulings have since awarded millions in defamation damages. Trump's career has been driven by relentless ambition. But his famous show, The Apprentice, and his "You're fired" catchphrase made him a household name.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here.
Although his business image wasn't flawless, bankruptcies and tax filings exposed years of chronic losses. Trump entered the 2015 presidential race, rallying his base with a call to restore the so-called American dream and secure U.S. borders. Under Make America Great Again, he trounced his way through the Republican primary and eventually defeated Hillary Clinton.
President of the United States.
His presidency was transformative yet divisive, marked by tax cuts, strict immigration policies, a trade war with China, and the U.S. withdrawal from key global agreements. The end of his presidency brought chaos. After his 2020 loss, Trump declared election fraud, igniting a January 6 rally that erupted into the Capitol riot. A day that led to his second impeachment. Despite that, his grip over the Republican Party grew. And at 78, Trump is back, leading the campaign trail while facing 91 felony charges, from election interference to fraud. Despite these challenges, his monumentum has not slowed. An assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally only deepened his base's fervor. Trump's ambitious Project 2025 outlines sweeping changes from immigration to federal authority. He proposed bringing the entire federal bureaucracy, independent agencies like the Department of Justice, under presidential control.
And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail, or we'll kick them the hell out of our country as fast as we can.
Critics argue that this 900-page blueprint reads like a conservative manifesto, offering the next Republican president expanded executive powers and embedding a hardline social agenda across the United States. He has since distanced himself from it, but experts say it offers a snapshot of what the United States could look like under a second Trump presidency. The question in the meantime is how Southeast Asian countries can manage a potentially unreliable and transactional American administration. Southeast Asia's long tradition of hedging between China and the United States may soon face its ultimate challenge. I'm Jamela Alindogan, and this is Inside Weekly.
Shifting over to some sports, the NLEX Road Warriors and Converge Fiber Xers making big moves ahead of the PBA Commissioner's Cup. The Road Warriors announced on Monday that it has tapped the services of former NBA player Ed Davis as its reinforcement. The 35-year-old big man was selected 13th overall by the Toronto Raptors in the 2010 draft. Davis has also played for teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz before taking his act overseas. The Fiber Xers also revealed the former NBA big man Chick Diallo as his import for the Commissioner's Cup. Diallo played for the New Orleans Pelicans and the Phoenix Suns in the NBA. The 28-year-old player from Mali has also seen action in leagues in Japan, Spain, and Puerto Rico. The PBA Commissioner's Cup will tip off on November 27th.
The music industry has lost a titan. Legendary producer Quincy Jones has died. His publicist confirmed his passing Monday through a statement that did not specify the cause. Jones worked with some of the biggest names in music, including Frank Sinatra and Michael Jackson, in an incomparable career that spanned decades. His best-known work was producing the King of Pop's timeless albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. But the 28-time Grammy winner also composed his own hits, most notably Soul Bossa Nova, the theme song of the Austin Powers film franchise. Jones was 91.
Wales has arrived in Cape Town, South Africa for a 4-day visit focused on the Earthshot Prize, which aims to tackle global environmental challenges. Kensington Palace shared a video on social media showcasing Cape Town's vibrant energy and highlighting the upcoming events, including the Earthshot Prize Awards and the United for Wildlife Summit. His visit begins with an engagement involving 120 young leaders participating in Earthshot Week, where they will develop leadership and storytelling skills. This week will culminate in the awards ceremony, where 5 winners will each receive a £1 million British pound grant for their innovative solutions to environmental issues. Prince William expressed the personal significance of Africa to him, recalling it as a place of comfort and inspiration. Meanwhile, Princess Kate is in the UK caring for their 3 children. Now, Tom.
Jenny.
Bob reached out to me last year and going through the different generations of a family.
Tom Hanks, the 69-year-old American actor and filmmaker, is feeling disheartened after his recent film Here suffered a significant box office failure. Despite a production cost of $50 million, the film only earned $5 million during its opening weekend. Director Robert Zemeckis attributed the film's poor performance to its unconventional approach, although he credited former Miramax head Bill Black for believing in the project. Zemeckis expressed concerns about the current state of the theatrical movie industry, noting that many filmmakers are facing similar challenges. Here, which debuted on November 1, is based on Richard McGuire's 2014 graphic novel. Now, when we return, get ready to know some misconceptions about GERD and dyspepsia. As we also explore the world of digestion, knowing the do's and don'ts. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now today we are exploring the complex world of digestion, focusing on 2 common yet often misunderstood conditions, GERD and dyspepsia. Imagine your stomach as a bustling factory. GERD is like a faulty conveyor belt, allowing acid to spill back into the esophagus, resulting in that fiery heartburn sensation. Now, dyspepsia, on the other hand, is akin to the factory workers feeling unwell, grappling with bloating and discomfort in the upper abdomen. Both conditions can disrupt daily life, but they each tell a unique story. Now, to shed light on these digestive dilemmas, we have the expert guidance of Dr. Paolo Demapelis with us today. It's a beautiful day, Dr. Paolo. Hello there.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Now, first and foremost, can you please explain to us the main differences between GERD and dyspepsia? Una-una, ano ba yung GERD and ano ba yung dyspepsia? And how do they affect patients differently?
Okay, so GERD and dyspepsia, they are both hyperacidity in general. There is decreased acid in the stomach. But what's the difference? That in GERD, there is a weakening of the lower esophageal sphincter pressure. The lower esophageal sphincter pressure, you can imagine it is like the gate between your stomach and the esophagus. Now, if it's weak, the acid tends to go up, and then there will be heartburn, and there will be acidic reflux. That's the main difference of them. But there are both hyperacidity in both of them.
All right, Doc, so we're going to try and get your connection just a bit clearer here kasi medyo garbled ng konti. But no worries, but at the same time, kasi right now I've been actually hearing more about GERD and how people are managing it. A lot of people go through diets, a lot of people try to deal with it in different ways. For those who don't know that they have it, ano po mga symptoms that may be leading to GERD, and of course, what people should consider if they start feeling a certain way that, uy, baka may GERD ako?
Okay, so first and foremost, let's start with dyspepsia. There is like a burning sensation or like a pain in the upper abdomen, especially in the central part. And then, if you have acid reflux, there is like a feeling that there is like an acid going up from your stomach to your chest to your neck. And sometimes there's what we call heartburn. Some people may misunderstand it as like chest pain or like difficulty of breathing or palpitations. That's why it's called heartburn. So those are signs of acid reflux. And the ones that are less common are halitosis or bad breath. And sometimes there is like a different taste on the mouth or what we call water flash.
Doc, you mentioned din sa dyspepsia. Are there any common triggers? Like, what starts it in general? Are people just born with it, or do we do things in our daily lives that we don't realize that it's actually contributing to either dyspepsia or GERD?
Okay, so of course, you are born with it. Long story short, if you have GERD or dyspepsia, you're bound to have it for the rest of your life. It's a chronic disease. But what triggers it, what starts it again, is actually stress. The most common one is stress and anxiety. That's why we see it in many patients with anxiety disorders, and those people in a very stressful environment. But other triggers include overeating, for example, pain or in gathering, you eat a lot at one time. Also certain medications like antibiotics, pain relievers, and also there's the bacteria called Helicobacter pylori that causes ulcer in our stomach that can also trigger it. And this one we diagnose this through endoscopy.
Now, Doc, you mentioned stress, anxiety, and eating a lot at the same time. I feel like that's all of us. But how important is lifestyle modification to manage both GERD and dyspepsia? And what do people need to do so we prevent having it? Or if they do have it, what should they do to manage it?
Okay, so lifestyle modification is just half of it. So one of the things that most people should do is eat slowly. What I tell patients, you can eat if you have like a big meal, you can divide it into portions and eat them in portions. Another one is what we call head of bed elevation. It's kind of tricky, but you have to put a triangular shaped pillow or a wedge fold pillow under your mattress so that it's elevated. And then another one is avoiding trigger foods. So trigger foods, this is the long list of what we hear from doctors. Coffee, tea, chocolate, soft drinks, spicy food, oily food, potato-based food, citrus-based food, alcohol, and smoking. But these trigger trigger foods actually vary from person to person. So, for example, it doesn't mean that I have trigger in spicy food, you have trigger in spicy food, and other people's in coffee. So, you have to look for your trigger food. And then once you find your trigger food, you have to more or less avoid it or limit it. Because there's like limit which you can take in sugar. But overall, you can take a little bit of it and not trigger your acid reflux. Other ones is avoid eating 2 hours before sleeping. Another very important lifestyle modification is weight loss. If you are obese and overweight, weight loss contributes also a lot in reducing the acid reflux. And of course, the most important of all is health-seeking behaviors. You go to see your doctor, your gastroenterologist, and your doctor so that you can be given medication.
Doc, you already mentioned like certain medicines and antibiotics to treat GERD and dyspepsia. The symptoms of GERD can be mistaken for something else. So what happens? Kasi mahilig tayo mag-WebMD, right?
Yes.
Self-medicate. So what happens if GERD is not treated at once? Does it lead to an even more severe condition?
When it comes to GERD and acid reflux, GERD and dyspepsia, for people like years, I have seen patients, it took them 5 years, 10 years before consulting doctors, especially those in poorer communities. Some of them tend to have big ulcers, and these ulcers tend to bleed, tends to get perforated. Those are the very bad ones. But of course, GERD and dyspepsia on its own is very difficult. And it's very difficult for patients to handle. That's why usually seek the doctor right away because it's kind of difficult to tolerate once it's getting worse. And for each attack of acid reflux and dyspepsia, it can only get worse.
Doc Pao, okay, let's try something first to try and get your audio fixed. If you could shift instead from using your earphones as your microphone, baka we might hear you a bit better. But Doc, while you're fixing that,
can I be heard better?
yes, that's better, Doc. Thank you so
better.
much. Doc, right before we let you go, for those who are wondering about if there's any other treatment options or things that they should do to help manage it, what would you say is the best way for patients who suspect that they have a GERD or dyspepsia to actually do in terms of consultation and, of course, any preventive treatment?
Well, preventive treatment is actually very difficult because once you have an attack of GERD or acid reflux, it can only get worse. And the best way really is just have a consult with your doctor and be given the right medication. That's really just the best one. And I tell my patients, you just expect that it will attack in the future. I already set their expectations that in a year or so after a very good treatment, it can really, it will really come back and will just give you medication again.
At mangyayari, and that's something we should watch out for. Doc Pao, if anyone wants to reach out to you or follow any of your content, or of course want to be able to get any of your advice specifically, how can they reach out to you?
Okay, of course, the best way is through my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page, Dr. Paolo Demapelis, Adult Gastroenterologist. You can search it. You can search my full name on Facebook, and my Facebook page will come right up.
So we are now going to try and flood your Facebook page with invites, with likes, and hopefully some additional consultations.
Yes.
Dr. Paolo, maraming salamat. We hope you can have you here in studio next
Thank
time.
you very much also. Thank you for
to
the
avoid
invite. Thank
any
you.
of the issues with connections. Maraming salamat, Doc. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the topic of healing one's inner child has taken the internet by storm lately after a social media user uploaded a video of himself shopping for toys after getting his paycheck. Self-care? Really? We'll find out more about that when we return. Plus, a toy collector and a clinical psychologist join us in the huddle to try and break that all down. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, how far will you go to heal your so-called inner child? Now, this discourse online took over social media as user at CraigVD posted on X, formerly Twitter, a vlog of himself shopping for toys at a well-known toy store. On his post, he wrote, "Employed era equals healing my inner child era. The kid inside me must be so happy." Now, with 9.8 million views, Craig's video spurred mixed reactions from Filipinos online. Now, a now deactivated user at Patimbulac wrote, "Bakit kaya kapag sinabing healing my inner child, kailangan konektado sa konsumerismo?" Some psych majors on X had a field day arguing about the matter, with one user saying the inner child concept does not exist in psych literature, to which another user replied, "As a psych major, dapat alam mong hindi lahat ng mga phenomena mahanap mo sa literature." A plethora of users came in rescue for the original poster of the video, like user at 413RRE, who said, "I don't understand the discourse behind this because I would do the same if I had a job too." Parang iba ata issue niyan. Meanwhile, Miguelismo said, a friendly reminder that bullying other people for buying stuff isn't fighting consumerism. Consumerism is a culture, is an offshoot of overproduction by bureaucratic capitalism. If you want to fight consumerism, punch upward. And user at Tapebora wrote, "Buying toys to heal your inner child isn't just consumerism, it's about reclaiming joy and self-care in a world that's often inaccessible. Rather than targeting individuals for how they spend, let's focus on systems that make self-fulfillment a luxury for many." And now moving on to Paul Wimal Crossing, who commented, "I don't know, it must feel so terrible to make a video showing how you celebrate earning your first paycheck by having the internet rip it to shreds." All right, now joining us here on the show as well to talk about toy collecting as well, and of course why we spend that much. Of course, we have Kevin Casus, who's also a toy collector. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first and foremost, I'm going to be a bit guilty here kasi ako rin nagko-collect of certain things. I also spend probably more than I should. Ako, yung personal collection ko, mga football jerseys, mga soccer jerseys.
Okay.
I have really old ones.
Collection.
It's an expensive
Yeah.
collection.
Expensive one.
It's an expensive hobby. Pero Kevin, why would you spend on toys when you see that guy a while ago? Nakaka-relate ka ba? Because it's something that you really look forward to, I'm sure.
Yeah, like you said, yung mga jerseys, diba? These are your heroes. So ito, when I spend to these, it's like having a physical representation of my heroes, and it makes me happy having them.
Yeah, it makes you happy having them, I'm sure. And Mo, you actually brought a few things that make you happy.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Ito,
I mean, I will probably get a lot of hate. I'm like a child. So this post resonated with me. I don't know why people are giving him hate. Because honestly, I mean, he's just spending his money. Let the guy do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
I don't know why people are hating on him and my bear.
But Anne, does your kid have an inner kid in your inner?
Well, she collects a lot of those anime keychains. Like when we went to Japan, we spent so much money on these anime keychains. There are these stores in Japan, right? They sell like anime stuff. I don't really know them. I'm so sorry. Because during my time, I wasn't collecting toys. Yung uso nun, yung stationery and stickers.
Yeah.
So, sorry, na-reveal yung age ko. Pero yun yung kino-collect before. So I had all these Care Bears and Rainbow Bright stickers and stationery. So that was my collection
Alam mo,
before.
kanina we were talking about the concept of an inner child, and some psych majors and psychologists or psychologists online, I'm not so sure, we're having conversation about it. But we actually have psychologists on the line. Dr. Camille Garcia is joining us via phone. Doc Camille, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much for joining us. Unang-una, Doc, when you see people go into collecting or spending money on siguro yung mga items na hindi talaga may utility apart from bringing joy to oneself, how do you connect that? Yung concept ng healing an inner child through toys or similar collectibles to support one's emotional self?
Okay, when you collect objects, you're often drawn to items that evoke positive emotions or memories. And these objects can serve as a tangible reminder of your joy, your comfort, nostalgia. And when you surround yourself with these items, you're essentially nurturing your inner child.
And Doc, you know, on that point, I'm actually going to turn to our other guest here. Kasi, Kev, you were talking a while ago. We were talking a while ago na sobrang, you're a big fan of the Batman franchise.
Yeah,
and
Batman.
those were actually the toys that you brought in. When you talk about the joy that comes alongside all of it, what was Batman to you when you're younger, and why do you want to continue that until now?
Well, Batman to me when I was younger was what I wanted to be. You know, how some people want to be lawyers, doctors, or...
You wanted to be Batman?
I wanted to be
Parang
Batman.
hirap ata nun. Oo.
Mahirap nga eh. That's why whatever's closest, whatever can get me to being Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I could connect with it.
Just hang out by a bat cave. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tsaka you have that dark jacket naman eh, so medyo, you know,
Yeah.
Batman
Batman
vibe.
vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
Pero, Kev, before I turn back to Doc Camille, when you talk about setting aside a budget for it, because it obviously is an expensive hobby.
Yes.
That's not, you know, let's not beat around the bush. How do you budget for it? And of course, when do you feel na, okay, baka sobra na ata to?
Well, budget is 90% goes to it, 10% goes to clothes,
Wow.
relationship.
90%?
Yeah, 90%. Well,
Okay.
I'm exaggerating, but yeah.
I hope you are.
I don't really think about it. Just
Ah.
whenever I have something, I set aside a bit, but most of it goes to collecting.
Kasi some of the toys can be really expensive,
They
no?
could.
Especially the rare ones,
Yeah.
the hard to find.
Collectible items.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like how much one would cost, for example?
I think
that
these
you
are
bought?
relatively
would be-
affordable. These.
These are relatively affordable. Yeah, they would be 1.7 each.
Okay, that's not too
But
bad.
you have to buy smart. I pre-ordered this, so
Yeah.
if I got them on hand, they would be around 2,100.
understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Doc Camille, now hearing someone spending, I don't mean to put Kevin under your chair at the moment or give a free consult. Pero Doc, when you have people come about and talk about how much they spend on things like this, what do you feel drives them to revisit their childhood in this way, or at least reclaim these moments that brought up so much joy?
Actually, when you talk of your inner child, you know, kasi it refers not only to the child aspect of our personality. Siyempre, of course, when we are faced with a stressful situation or traumatic situations ng bata tayo, parang this is one way for us to be able to, parang it's not necessarily a defense, pero parang it's one way for us to resolve yung mga unresolved conflicts ng bata tayo. So, like, halimbawa, we felt na before we are deprived of this, o kaya naman, we never experienced mga ganitong situations na gusto ko, ganito yung goal, pero unfortunately, wala kaming pera. So ngayon, pag nare-resolve siya, it doesn't matter kung ano yung price, kung, especially if it's cosmetic. Kasi there are other ways naman where you talk of healing your inner child. Pero somehow, when you talk of collecting kasi, it's more of something na talagang you look forward to na, ay hindi, kasi meron isang ano dito unique item, a rare item. And you know, sa gardening naman, mahirap naman sabihin, may rare na plant akong pahahanap, di ba, mahirap din yun, expensive din yun. Pare-parehas lang. When you talk of this thing, it's not about the price. It's how you satisfy the inner child.
Doc, you mentioned it a while ago na parang they're trying to do something that they couldn't do when they were younger siguro. Baka they wanted this sort of toy, baka they wanted this sort of gadget or gizmo that they couldn't have in the past, and now parang revenge buying siguro yung ginagawa nila. Is that something that you see more of right now? Alam ko nakita natin sa TikTok, sa social media, that there are a lot of people who are collecting more in general.
Okay, there's this so-called inner childhood wound that can manifest as various emotional and psychological issues pagdating sa adulthood. Kaya minsan pa pwede talaga it happen na you heal by nurturing what you really want. So by acknowledging and nurturing our inner child, we can heal the past wounds and develop a healthier sense of self. Kaya yun siguro yung something fulfilling pagdating sa collecting toys or collecting objects or kung ano man yung pwede na sabihin natin that can really enhance or stimulate a healthier sense of self.
All right, ma'am, we're gonna turn it over now to our co-host now holding a doll to heal her inner child.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm getting put on the spot. But I want to ask Kevin actually a question. So Kevin, one of your videos on TikTok was when you were doing unboxing with the balikbayan boxes.
Yes.
And like we talked about kanina, the guy that posted healing his inner child got a lot of hate. Well, mixed reviews, but mostly I feel like it's hate. What kind of responses have you gotten for your unboxing videos?
Oh, they were actually very positive. It was
that's
mostly
nice. Wow.
sana all. That's what I got from most of the comments. And what was funny was the comments from my family, like my mom, like, ano na naman yan? Dinosaur na naman. Or, pangilan Batman mo na yung pangilan Darth Vader mo na yan. So that's mostly the positive reaction I got.
That's good. I'm glad though, like that people are saying positive
Yeah.
things. Have you gotten negative feedback?
I have recently, yeah. But,
Recently?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's all good.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to say, it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
You know what? I checked your YouTube and I saw that you're not just collecting all these superhero figures. You also have a Jurassic Park
Yes.
section. You have all these dinosaurs, right? Where do you draw the line? Kumbaga, parang pag sobrang hirap ba hanapin yung item, you just like give up there na parang, oh, sige, no more healing of inner child here. Sobrang hirap na. And what was the most outrageous collecting story that you have? Like, ano yung pinakamahirap mong tinry na i-collect?
Well, first of all, yung pinakamahirap kong trinay collect was something that wasn't in the Philippines. So I had to tap my dad to get it all the way from eBay in the States, which
Okay,
was like
okay.
a wrestling figure, which was a new version of that
Oh, yeah,
character.
Yeah.
How much did it cost?
It was 4,000 pesos, and I had
Okay.
no work at that
Okay,
time.
okay,
I had
okay.
only allowance, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because Doc, we'll go back to you in just a bit. Pero I want to ask Kev something here that na ako natamaan ako when I collect my jerseys. When people look at it, it's like, what's the difference between the one jersey and the other,
Yes.
or I'm sure one item or the other. Pero just how important is the variety of things that you're collecting? Kasi syempre, we want the newest thing, we want the shiniest thing, or we want the thing that napaka-retro,
Yes.
that only really hardcore fans would understand.
Well, with variety, you know, they keep coming up with better ones.
Yeah.
So, unlike with jerseys, diba? Like,
Yeah.
I follow the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I used to like Vince Carter a lot.
Yeah.
But now there's Luka, and I really
Yeah.
like Luka, and I have to have his jersey as well, and that comes with toys.
Yeah.
So they're gonna probably make this a better version someday.
Yeah.
With more accessories and there's no stopping. That's why my YouTube name is Kevin's Unending Wishlist, is because it never
never
Oh, it
stops.
never
Never
ends.
stops.
I love that name.
Yeah, no, that's true. And can I just say, sometimes the uglier the item, the more I want it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But I'll explain later on. But Doc, when you talk to people who get to the point that, okay, baka sobra na to, at what point do you draw the line between being obsessed or addicted to a certain habit or a certain spending habit that maybe you could look at it, okay, negative na to eh. How do you help people understand that there is a line that should be drawn and it should be addressed? Doc? All right, so that was an interesting question. Wala si Doc Camille, sayang. Pero Kev, do you feel that? Ayun, Doc, are you back? All right, so I think we still lost Doc Camille. But yeah, how do you draw the line with regards to, okay, baka this might be too much? Obviously, you're smarter with money as you grow older.
Yeah.
Pero when do you draw the line?
Well, there's a set. They're called hot toys, and they're above 16,000 to 50,000. That's where I don't go.
Yeah.
I just collect what I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the scale that I can. So maybe when I get richer, maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe not, but
No, pero may mga iba, nagko-collect nga ng mga kotse, di ba?
Kotse.
Yeah,
Oo,
yeah.
watch.
So, mga watch. Doc Camille, we'll try again. I think she's there.
Yeah, I'm here na.
Perfect. Doc, we were talking a while ago about drawing the line with regards to when does collecting become more of an addiction and an obsession that actually is detrimental to someone's life. How would you address something like that? How do you identify it? Kasi minsan nagiging habit siya that they don't realize that it's actually becoming something negative and impacting their life in a way that it shouldn't.
You're organized. So typically, there's the collection is you collect in a specific manner, displaying them, and then there's a purpose while you're collecting. There's also a possibility while collectors may be emotionally attached to their items, it is a healthy attachment. It doesn't interfere with your daily life. There is always control. Well, collectors have a sense of control. Unlike when you talk about hoarding. Kasi pag sa hoarding kasi, wala siyang control and it becomes a mental health issue. Remember, there's a big difference between collecting and being a hoarder. Kaya alam ng isang collector when to draw the line. Unlike pag naging hoarder ka, you don't know when to draw the line.
Wow, Doc Camille, you've actually caused a few faces to tilt to the side here after you mentioning that there's a difference between collecting and hoarding.
I noticed that it's a fine line kasi between hoarding and collecting. So you can't really tell, nag-hoard na ba ako? You can't.
Yeah.
We'll be calling you Doc.
Wait, Doc, sorry, you had a point to make?
Okay, when you say hoarding kasi, disorganized yung mga collection mo. Unlike pag collector ka, ino-organize mo yun. Ganun yan.
Shoot.
Doc,
I figured I'm
Doc, you just opened up a can of worms that Monique was not ready to answer.
No.
But we just want to thank you po for really telling Monique that she needs to see a psychologist, a psychiatrist.
Thank you, Doc. I'll be calling you later.
And of course, want to thank Kevin Casus as well for his insights and his stories. Maraming salamat. Doc, thank you very much for joining us on the line. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us here live.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so from healing the inner child, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the hottest topics on social media when we return. People acting as human traffic codes. Yung mga nagre-reserve sa parking spot. Oh, catch that discussion and more after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You are still watching It's a Beautiful Day. We will have a look at the traffic situation over at EDSA. 2 days after workers and students return after the Undas break, we have Pierre Pastor on the line from Makati. Pierre, how's it looking over there?
Yeah, good morning. It's rush hour, and as expected, there is traffic on major thoroughfares. As early as 5 a.m., traffic started to build up in EDSA. Southbound is heavy traffic starting from Cubao to Santolan, Annapolis. Super heavy traffic and slow moving from Guadalupe to Ayala. Traffic is due to volume of vehicles going to the south area. Meanwhile, northbound from MOA to FB Harrison is moderate to heavy right now. Traffic naman is due to passenger jeepney queues along the road waiting for passengers. Then at the Magallanes flyover going to Buendia is moderate to light at the moment. According to MMDA Metro Base, there has been no traffic-related accidents monitored up until this hour. And
mukhang back to work na talaga, no? Back to normal.
Yes.
Everything because it's traffic already.
Yes,
since
super
this morning.
traffic. Yes.
Thank you so much for that update, Pierre Pastor.
Thank you.
Reporting live from EDSA.
Now we have an exciting discussion ahead because a new video online sparks the conversation on people using themselves as human traffic cones to secure a parking spot. In a viral video, a woman dressed in pink stood her ground on a parking spot while the driver of a private vehicle yelled at her for blocking access. The people involved in the confrontation released conflicting stories online on what really happened. Netizens were divided over who should take the blame as the altercation turned physical with shoving. Now, I'm gonna get high blood now with this, but just reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know why people are divided about this online because I think it's so wrong to stand on the parking spot if you do not have a car.
You know what? I think people are discussing this topic because the driver who wanted to park on that spot became a bit physical, right? So that's why we're having this discussion. But I think if you stand on that slot, you're asking for it.
Now, I'm sweating. I'm getting hot.
No, pero again, like, look, first of all, malamang may kotse siya, or at least with someone with a car. And obviously stood there to try and reserve it for that person.
But that shouldn't be a thing. I don't think that there would be any debate.
there would be debate on how that person should have acted,
Yeah,
trying
how
to
he
move
handled
the
it.
person,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Pero I think we can all agree na dapat
Yes.
talaga hindi ganon.
So please don't do it.
Yeah,
If
pero
you're watching,
next time na
don't.
pag-uusapan natin in the benefit of Anne, what we think of motorcycles, no matter
Ay,
how
nako,
big,
that-
in
Oh,
car
yes,
slots.
yes.
No,
Okay?
that's not a safe topic to
Pero
discuss.
let's talk about that some other time.
Tomorrow.
Kasi controversial din yun eh. Pero sa atin lang
yes,
muna
yes.
yun. That's it for us this Tuesday morning, November the 5th. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Have a beautiful day. Sending love and good vibes your way.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Please don't stand in the parking spot. We hope you all have a good start to your day and join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. only here on
It's a beautiful day.